Hello everyone and welcome back. So this is the same house. This is upstairs in the laundry room. Remember this is 17-year-old marble. I had very minimal and I couldn't afford to make a mistake on this. So you know that you primer the floor because this is on radiant heat. And if it's a new build, you should always primer the floor. So you should vacuum scrape anything loose. Uh, Wash it with a wet sponge and wait for it to dry, then primer it, and then come back the next day. Pre-roll all your Ditra, cut it, pre-roll it, and set it aside. And when you're going along this, just do the same thing. Just put the cement. I'm using all set Schluter cement, so. Just bear with me, we're getting there. And just make sure you put a lot of pressure on that Ditra as you go along, okay guys? It's very important. Just don't lay it out and then just leave it. So this is my next day, and this is what I call flashing. And I'm using Schluter all set cement for this. Okay, this is my next day. So this is a pocket door, all right? And I'm gonna take the measurement of the door jamb and equal it out. So when they close the door, and I'll just divide that by half. So when they close the door, it'll hide the tile and the hardwood on the outside. And just do the same for the other side. I do know this room is squared. I took my measurements, but I didn't chalk line anything. I'll show you what to do. I'm going to do a dummy line on this one, okay? Just to be on the safe side because it's a pocket door. Let's grab your pencil. So that's where I want to start my first tile because I'm going to be short, guys. Are very close to being short, and they suggested if I'm going to be short in the closet to go with 18 by 18 polished marble, and I don't want to do that. I want to keep it continuous throughout the whole room, and I know the answer. I already did it, so I'm going to start right there. Just put a dry tile there. And you see that opening, that where that closet is to your left? That's going to be a closet. I'm going to hit that piece of wood on the inside of that closet. And I'm just going to strike my line right there because that's going to be my starting point. And you see what I'm talking about? Because the door will open outwards. So I want to hide that. I don't want to go any more in there. I want more, as much room as possible. Okay, we're just going to strike that line. Take the tile, the stone out, and strike. Put your square against the metal, where it is half and half on the jamb, and just set it right there. Make sure you're hitting the marks on the jamb with your metal. Just take your time, guys. It's very important to keep this room as square as possible. And it is very square. This is a really good builder. He's another one of mine. So just grab that metal. And I'm going to show you this metal. So that's a 1-inch metal. Now, I need the 1 inch. Usually I use a 3/4 inch. Or I'm sorry, a 1/2 inch metal. But I need the 1 inch because what they did for me is the metal or the stone is like Sorry, that's 3/4 inch, guys. I got another one that's 1 inch in the other room. So the stones are 5/8 thickness to a 1/2 inch. And you see that one room where the hardwood is? That's a little bit higher than that room. Because if I put a 3/8 or a 30mm Ditra, I need to make sure that I have enough cement. So that's dropped down about a 1/4 inch, that room. So I don't want to use like a quarter inch notch trowel. I'd rather use, actually I'm using a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 notch trowel. Okay, so strike your line on that square from one to the front door to the back. Just take your tape measure and remember that mark, and you're going to go to the other end of the wall, and we just want to make sure that everything is going to be equal out. And see if that's the same measurement as the mark in the front. Okay. And I'll show you that measurement. It's 135.5, okay? So the front's got to be 135 and the back's got to be 135 to the wall on the back there. Okay, I'm going to set this camera up for you a little bit better. Remember, guys, this is my my dummy line right there, okay? So I know that dummy line is going to be good. So I'm going to grab my tape measure, and you see that first line that I striked with the stone? I'm going to make sure, and I'll give you the measurement. Hopefully I'll show you right here. So that's the measurement on that line, 5 inches. And you're going to want to go to the back of that wall, and you're going to mark 5 inches on there. Grab your chalk line and grab something heavy to hold that chalk line. I'm using stone. I think there's 2 or 3 there. It's pretty heavy stuff, so that chalk line is not going to move. You can use a pail or somebody to give you a hand and just strike that line, okay? Just take your time and make sure you're right on that front line and on that back line. And just strike that line. Now that line is going to be my stone line. Just make sure you put that stone right on that line. It's heavy. These stones here are, I said in a previous video, they're like 70 to 75 pounds. I'm not kidding. And just grab that metal. Put it on the 2 marks on the jamb. Sorry, it's a little loud in there. Grab your square. And you see that one side of the jamb? We're going to mark that line. That's going to be a cut. Just grab your tape measure, and it's going to be 3, 3 1/4. And just mark 3 and 3 1/4. That's going to be the distance, because remember, we're going to have to notch that tile out to get up to that pocket door. And we're going to transfer that mark right there. grab your square. And mark that front line there. And there you go. That's the one we're taking out, guys. We're taking out that pocket. I'm glad I have this grab all. It saved my life. It really did. And remember, guys, you want to make sure that you don't overstep that where they have to tilt that board. I like all my jobs to not have a tilt. I want everything flush from the hardwood to the stone. So these are just cut off Ditra, and I need to raise that metal to hit that hardwood, the top of that hardwood. So just slide a few of those in there until you hit that hardwood perfectly. Just adjust that hardwood so it's going to sit flush. See that? That's a good height. I will check it later on when I start installing tiles with that piece of hardwood, just to make sure that I'm not up too much or too low. Oh boy, this is gonna get heavy. Look at how thick that stone is, guys. That's thick. And it's heavy. And it's 17 years old. That's what we're taking out. And unfortunately, you can't get that same stone. It's from China. You can't get that same stone from the quarry. Okay, so we got that first one cut, and we might as well start on the second one. Do the same thing. And transfer that mark. Just mark that. That'll be my long cut, and that'll be my pocket door right there. That cut right there. And there's my cut. And just slowly slide it in there. We'll readjust that metal because it's not cemented in yet. Look at the size of those arms, those pipes, man. Who am I kidding? I've seen bigger arms on chairs. And shut that off because it gets a little loud. So we're going to put my square right against that tile, the dry one, and we're going to strike another line going across. Now, these stones, they're a little bit off. So I had to square a little bit from 1/16 sometimes to an 1/18. Some are good. I would say about half, guys, are good and half are bad. But in the end, it worked out good. And there is some imperfections, but like I said in my other one, the foyer that I did downstairs. I'll show you a trick that I use to hide some of those scratches and corners. And just set that aside. Grab your tape measure, and let's make sure that that wall is going to be good. So 27 or 27 or 26 and 7/8. Okay, so you're going to check the front and the back. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to start off with my 3/4 notch trowel. When you purchase your cement, you always got to look at the bag and make sure that it can hold up to 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch cement. And remember, always use white, never gray. Never do that. And the reason why you don't use the gray cement is because it can bleed through and it'll kind of discolor it a little bit. So that's why you always use white with stone. Just make sure you get a good bond on that floor, okay? And this is going to be my first stone. Okay, guys, so I'm going to use my 3/4 notch trowel again. It's a little bit of an overkill, but I want to make sure that this stone will last for a long, long time. So I'm going to go the opposite way, that way. You're kind of crisscrossing your cement on the floor. So just make sure you get enough on there. And I know it's a little frustrating, but just take your time. And believe me, at the end, you'll be very proud of yourself. And that's what you're looking for. And your client will love you for it too. This cement here, by the way, is Mapei LFT. And the LFT means large format tiles. So, and there is another product called LHT, which means large heavy tiles. So, okay, the opposite way, guys, just like that. And believe me, you're gonna get a good bond, a really good bond. Put it this way, if you put that stone down and you have to say raise it or it's too low, try taking that out. And that thing, that cement, you got to drag it out. You can't just go and pick it up. You have to drag the whole thing and you have to start that process again. So it's better to have a little bit more than not enough. I'm just going to use that. I use a grab ball sometimes to vibrate it a bit. So I just press that red button and it'll continue to vibrate. Just make sure that stone hits the tip, okay? I know I'm rambling on here, but I'm trying to give you as much information as I possibly can. taking my time here because I don't want to pick up another stone. This is actually where I talked earlier in my other video where I told you I had a pinched nerve. My foot went numb. So don't worry, guys. I wasn't having a heart attack or anything. So, yeah. So it gets a little heavy once in a while. Once you get that first course leveling, it is a lot easier. Your first course, it's like bricklaying. The first course of everything. It's the most important part is the first course. Without a good first course, you might as well scrap the job. So that first course will help you level the second course across, side to side. And the third course, the same thing. Just make sure you have your level. I mean, this floor is self-leveled, and you can use clip wedges, bud. Sorry, bud, everybody. But this here, I just went with my 1/16 spacers. And when I lay the next one, I just go back and forth against that stone until I know that it's going to be from tip to tip, it's dead level. And just have faith in yourself, okay? Okay, we're leveled. And we're leveled the other way. Whew, thank God. I promise you it'll get a little easier. Okay. And just repeat the process. Remember that first course is very important, guys. So and just work on when you get that first two there, just make sure your hardwood's gonna match up and make sure that so what I do here is I put tape, and the reason why I put the tape on the level is so I don't scratch the marble. This is my baby, this level. If you notice, it's not dirty or anything. I take good care of her. And what I do, just a little bit of pressure, just to help me out. I was talking earlier about that metal. Just make sure that it's flush with your stone and your hardwood on the outside. Just make the adjustment, okay? Don't be discouraged. Okay, I'm just checking over everything, making sure, and stay on that line. Both going across and front to back. All right. I'll post the time lapse for you. Thank you, guys, and please come back.